Welcome to another session with Learning with D. Our short explainer videos are not just fun and practical, but demonstrate that education is for everyone. Everyone can learn. In an earlier video, we discussed the difference between simple and compound interest. In review, we recall that the simple interest is calculated on an initial principal only, whereas compound interest is calculated based on the principal plus accumulated interest. Interest may be compounded multiple times per annum. In our formula, the variable n represents the number of times per annum that the interest is compounded. This formula calculates the amount or total value after a certain number of years with compound interest. On the right-hand side of the screen, you are reminded what each variable represents. And again, recall that n is the number of times per year that the interest is compounded. If the interest is compounded once per annum, then we will substitute 1 where we see n in the equation. If it is compounded 4 times per annum, we substitute 4 wherever we find n in the equation. In our first video in this series, we used Kayla and her $5,000 to demonstrate the difference between simple and compound interest. Let us assume Kayla's money is compounded once per year at 5%, and she takes it out after 5 years. You are tasked with finding out 2 things: how much she takes out after all 5 years, and how much of that was interest. Let's take a look at our givens. Let's go to work and find A. Substituting our given values, we get A is equal to 5,000, open bracket, 1 plus 0.05 over 1, close bracket, raised to the power of 1 times 5. This gives 5,000, open bracket, 1 plus 0.05, close bracket, raised to the 5th power. This gives 5,000, open bracket, 1.05, close bracket, raised to the 5th power. Now at this point, we must recall our rules, which dictate to us that we should perform the exponents part of our problem before the multiplication. It is important to note here that this can all be done in one step in your calculator. But if you do the exponent first, do not round off your answer. Use the entire result and then multiply by the principal. Round off in the end only. And we find then that A is $6,381.41. Before we move to the next part of the problem, let's reflect on something. The total amount is really the sum of the principal and all the interest accumulated. So then it should make perfect sense that a formula to find the interest is A minus the principal, where A is your total amount. Let's proceed then to find part B, your total interest earned during the 5 years. A minus P is $6,381.41 minus 5,000, and this gives us $1,381.41. This should ring a bell if you have watched the first video in our series. Other videos in this and other series are available. Like, share, and subscribe if you found the video helpful. If there's a topic you'd like to see us tackle, just let us know.